Alright, so I finally got around to buying myself a CR Touch auto leveling kit, which is basically just a BL Touch upgrade that you can find anywhere online. And I'm doing this for my Ender 5 Pro, which has been running for almost 3 years now, and I was quite happy with everything, but I always had issues with the manual bed leveling. So now I'm finally upgrading. I got this. Friends told me it's great and that there isn't anything that I should be aware of in case of installing it or anything else. They even have their own instruction manual with it, so I think it will be an easy install. It has pictures and everything, so let's see how this will go. Alright, I went ahead and I installed the BL Touch and did everything that was necessary, but I ran into quite a few issues with the setup, things that were not properly working out of the box. I mean, I'm not sure if they advertise it as plug and play, but it certainly wasn't plug and play. So if you have an Ender 5 Pro and you think, hey, I will get a BL Touch upgrade, and yeah, rather the correct name is the CR Touch kit. Doesn't matter, often referred to BL Touch, which is the same setup. Yeah, I had a lot of issues. I will guide you through those issues now in this second part of the video, so it will not happen to you. Alright, now we have the printer completely open, and we can see that the mainboard version that I have is the V.4.2.2, which supports the newer Marlin version that we downloaded earlier, and it is a 32-bit motherboard, which is also a very important detail. Now, here are two things that we need to do. The first thing is that we need to connect the BL Touch connector right here on top. I think you can see it quite well. It's right next to the processor right here. It's on the top right corner. Then, the other thing that I had to do, because of the new Marlin version that I installed, I actually had to come here and find the cable for the Extruder Stepper Motor, which is the one that is marked with an E right here, or the most top one. And what I had to do there is, I just had to flip the connector in there 180 degrees so that the stepper motor would be reversed. This is because the new Marlin version changed it so that the stepper motor runs backwards when actually the printer thinks it runs forward. Now, a lot of tutorials will tell you to remove the Z-axis limit switch right here, the connector to it. But I think this is not the best way to do it, because as you can see here, or you will see it yourself when you do it, there is a lot of, if it will focus, there is a lot of glue on there to keep the connectors connected. Alright, so the Z-axis limit switch that we just saw glued on the motherboard actually ends up going up here, which is this small cable right here, with the connector going right into this adapter here. Now what we have to do is we just simply plug it out, bring it back behind the printer, and then we can take the cable under here and just stow it away for later use if you decide to get rid of the BL Touch. So as you just saw, we removed the limit switch for the Z-axis. The X-axis as well as the Y-axis will stay there. This is the Y-axis limit switch and this is the X-axis limit switch. Now I already went ahead and installed the BL Touch. It fits on there quite well. The bracket here, the adapter, was delivered with the BL Touch. But I had some issues, because as you can see, these bands here, which are connected to the, if it focuses, to the metal framing, like this, with those clamps on, we have the issue that it's quite a tight space back there. The BL Touch needs to fit in there as well as this small metal clamp. So what I had to do there is I had to just pry it out a little bit. And then what I also did is I added those inserted threads, the ones that are mostly used in 3D printing to add more stability when you have parts that need to be screwed on somewhere. And the way I did this, I just simply matched the screw size, which is an M3 screw, and then I added the heated thread insert. Alright, here you can see it. There is just enough space, so you can add the insert right there. And I went ahead and did the same thing on the other side as well. Now it's quite stable. You cannot really move it around that much, which is important for the next few steps. Because what isn't mentioned in the instructions, especially for the Ender 5 Pro, maybe this is different for other printers, the issue that I had was that with the new firmware, which by the way I can show you right now, if I would connect the power again, so with the new version, here you can see everything. So with the new version, the issue that I had was that somehow the coordinate system of the XY axis was so messed up that the BL Touch thought it was actually on the X position, which is this horizontal axis right here, that the BL Touch was actually thinking it was here, which is quite a problem, because when it does all the bed alignment tests, what happens is that when it tries to check the left corner, the BL Touch was actually running into the side here, which is not that good, and it actually almost broke it because the stepper motor had quite some force pushing on it, which is unfortunate because no one really explained that online anywhere, at least not where I would have seen it in the forums. So just be aware that before you do any calibration, make sure to adjust the XY axis. I will show you this in the screen recording of my laptop later in the video. Now what you also have to do is, once everything is installed, you go ahead and you take your trustworthy piece of paper that we always use to manually level our beds, and then you adjust the screws just as you're used to it. You adjust all the corners, you check it multiple times, and when everything seems to fit just well enough, then you can proceed with the instructions that are delivered with the BL Touch in the packaging. Now, for calculating the exact offset of the BL Touch, which will be different for every one of you depending on the printer's age, or maybe you had some custom installs right here for the fan housing. Whichever it is, I would suggest you to measure it yourself. And we start with the x-axis, which is this one right here, and then we just put the 0 right at the BL Touch probe, and then we check where the nozzle is of the printer head. This distance, just write it down in millimeters, and then we can remember it for the next step. I also did the same thing for the y-axis, where I just checked how much the offset is between the BL Touch probe and the nozzle of the printer head. Once you have those two numbers, you can proceed with the laptop connection or PC, depending on where you have your printer. Basically, you just take a cable, and it's too dark in here. You take a cable and you can connect it to your 3D printer right here. Alright, so what I did, I downloaded Pronterface from GitHub. You will easily find some instructions online. Then what you will do is just open it up, connect your printer. We already connected the cable in the previous step, and then you're ready to send commands there. So one of the commands is M851, and with that command we can actually check the probe offset of the BL Touch. And here I already went ahead and input my offsets that I got from measuring it in the previous step. And the way you can do this is the M851 command. You can use it to just see what values are stored, but if you want to modify it, you can just use the same command, like M851, then just a space, capital X, Y or C, or all of them, and then a number. For example, M851 X47, then the Y is 5 and the Z is minus 1.08. That way you can change it, and to actually store it you use the M500 command. Now you can test it. You can go home with the G28 command. Alright, now you can see the output: echo, bed leveling on, echo, fade height 2.00. Alright, so the next command that we will use is the G29 command, which will actually start the auto leveling process. I already went ahead and did that, and using the command M420 space capital V, I can let the printer show me the exact grid that it created from measuring my bed. This is my grid. Your grid will look differently, but for me everything works now, and it's the correct setup that we have. So I will now go ahead and show you the other issue that I had while setting this BL Touch up. Alright, so now back at the printer we can see that the command that we previously ran went quite well. Nothing slammed anywhere or anything else that could have been broken. Now, one issue with the new firmware that I have is that somehow it takes me a huge amount of time to heat up the nozzle and the bed. What I realized is that with this new version you can actually go into configuration, advanced settings, and then if you go all the way down to temperature, there is a setting for PID Auto Tune E1, which is the extruder one, as well as PID Auto Tune Bed. So what this will do is you can set an amount of the temperature Celsius that you want, and then the printer will heat up to this temperature multiple times for the bed and for the nozzle individually. And what happens is it checks how long it takes to get up to a certain temperature range, and then it will calculate some configurations internally to be able to do it more efficiently and more precisely in the future. So this is just something to look out for, because when I installed the BL Touch I had everything set up and I was looking forward to print, and I didn't have any issues to print with PLA, but as soon as I printed some PET-G, which requires 230 to 250 degrees for the nozzle and 70 degrees for the bed, I ran into a lot of issues. I had some errors telling me that the nozzle is not warming up correctly, and this was just because of those configuration in the PID settings that weren't correctly set up. So this is also something to keep in mind with the new version. Alright, so I installed the BL Touch kit. Yeah, I mean, as you saw, there were a lot of issues that were not mentioned online or in the instructions. I have seen some of those issues in forums, but only individually. For me, all those issues happened at once, which was quite interesting. I didn't expect that, but now it works, and I even did my first print with it. Quickly have to open up my computer here. Alright, so here you can see my first print that I did. It's a PET-G GPU stand, just so I can push back on the sagging. GPU is 4 years old now, it's a 2080 Ti, and it's rocking still in 2025, soon 2026, but I thought I will have to support it a bit more, so I printed this. And I know it's not a huge print, so the bed leveling is not a big part in this print, but nonetheless it worked quite well. Yeah, I'm happy that I got around to actually do it, and now everything works without me having to manually level the bed every couple of prints. And sorry for the dusty computer, this will also be a project for those holidays. And with that, I will say goodbye to you, wish you a great start into the new year if you see this in 2025, and else good luck with your CR Touch install and have fun printing.